Om Shanti, everyone. Hello and good evening to the Wednesday night. And today we're going to talk a little bit about tolerance because tolerance is a quality. It's actually a power of the soul, for those of you who don't know. And it's a quality or a power that is very misunderstood. It's misunderstood in this world. Tolerance is something that people probably could define. If you ask them to define tolerance, most people would say acceptance, right? Understanding, something like that. But it's actually still a very misunderstood power, and it's actually not so easy to define tolerance. Even though we can sort of say something on a whim real quick, it's actually not so easy. When you look at true tolerance and you look at the depth of tolerance, it's not an easily definable power, even though we certainly recognize it. So we have been having to deal with tolerance a lot these past 3 months, a lot, even though we haven't used the word tolerance a lot. The call of the time has really tested our ability to tolerate, and starting from the quarantine, right, we had to tolerate or test our tolerance by having to stay home all day and not being able to do what we want to do, go out freely, go to the places and see the people that we love. We probably had to tolerate staying at home with people and learn to tolerate that, or maybe you had to learn to tolerate being home alone. Certainly there's a tolerance has been tested at all levels, and now with the equality movements that are going on, our tolerance is being questioned and certainly tested as well. So what is tolerance? And it's actually not so quite definable. Tolerance, a lot of times you hear somebody say, oh, I had to tolerate this today, or I had to tolerate the traffic, or you think of something, you're in front of somebody who's sort of maybe yelling at you or is mad at you, and you're in your head, you're going, okay, just be tolerant, tolerate this. But that's not tolerance. That is not tolerance at all. That could maybe possibly be practicing a little bit of patience, right? But tolerance is actually very black and white. It's almost really kind of objective if you look at tolerance, but tolerance really just is or it isn't. There's no in between with tolerance. So I'm either tolerant or I lose my tolerance. There's no being a little bit tolerant. And tolerance is a power of the soul that we actually develop. We increase and develop this power. One of the few powers that we actually increase and develop by not actually practicing the power itself, right? So again, you're in the middle of traffic, or you're having a fight with somebody who's angry at you. You don't develop tolerance at that moment, and certainly you don't develop it by telling yourself, okay, be tolerant, tolerate this. But tolerance is a power that's developed by actually practicing all the other powers of the soul, all the other virtues, right? So we develop tolerance by practicing humility, and we develop tolerance by practicing love, and we develop a tolerance by practicing respect, and we develop tolerance by practicing all the other powers and virtues that are at hand. And so when we work on those virtues and we work on those powers day to day, the automatic result and the absolute beautiful result is that I become a tolerant human being. And tolerance is not negative. Actually, tolerance is one of the most beautiful powers there are. And of course, we say we have to tolerate, but it sounds like it comes from a bit of maybe even I don't want to say negative, but not the most positive place, right? But tolerance, very deep spiritual tolerance, allows for the development of everything around me to blossom in a productive and positive way. So when I can be tolerant, right, I am accepting, but most of all, I am accepting that the outcome of situations, whether it's people's behaviors or situations that have come into my life, that the outcome of those situations is going to turn out for the best and for the better of humanity, if you will. That's true tolerance. True tolerance has the utmost faith that I deeply believe that things can change for the better. And when I can hold that vision, whether it's somebody that has done something completely off and there's a total wrongdoing, that I can still hold that vision that that person and that place or that situation, will unfold for the better. And that energy that I put out there of that faith and that belief has an effect on the outcome of everything. So tolerance really, and my ability to tolerate is my ability to be flexible, not just with my actions, but with my belief systems as well. And it's a great importance right now in the world right now that I can have that flexibility internally, especially for my belief systems. And so the beauty about tolerance is that it doesn't condone. Tolerance doesn't condone, but it accepts, and it accepts in a way that if I disagree with somebody and if I disagree with something I see, that I don't necessarily have to agree with it or condone it, but I certainly will hold the utmost vision for that to turn around, and for that person to turn around, and for that person to improve and be better. And then of course right back at me, right? Being my tolerance with myself. So absolutely we have to practice tolerance, and tolerance is generated with in the most deepest places when I have mercy in my heart, and mercy for those around me, and mercy for myself. And so I have to maintain that clean heart. So let's just dive into maybe a minute or two of a meditation that I can practice every day, and in the morning, in the evenings, throughout the day, whenever, to set the tone for tolerance. Let's just go deep into our thoughts. Let's reflect for a minute. And let's imagine what tolerance would look like. And if tolerance looked like a word, tolerance would be humility. And tolerance would be respect. And tolerance would be love. And tolerance would be compassion and cleanliness and purity. And if tolerance was an image, tolerance would look like an artist's palette that is blank, waiting for the colors to come on it, whatever they may be. Because tolerance would mix those beautiful colors together to create a beautiful painting. And the image of unity, and the image of connection. And so the word tolerance, the virtue and the power of tolerance, are really like a blank slate that allows what what has the potential to be and to arise, to blossom. And let's make a pact with myself, ourselves, every day moving forward to practice tolerance by practicing my virtues, with the goal of understanding tolerance, becoming tolerant, understanding tolerance, spreading tolerance, spiritual tolerance, very, very deep tolerance. Make a pact with yourself to do that every day. And so, let's think about tolerance as we move forward. I know we have not used the word so much lately, but think about it. Think about the word and think about how you can, what you can do in terms of your actions. But you know what's more stronger than actions always, always, always is the energy of your thoughts. So what can you do with the energy of your thoughts, right, to become more tolerant and spread the energy of tolerance in the world right now. And certainly you could start by signing in every week, every day to our videos, our live videos. And then of course making that pact with yourself throughout the day to generate that energy from your thoughts very, very deeply. So I wish you a wonderful night. And I wish tolerance for all of us and for the world, and that you stay connected. Om Shanti.